Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Sylvia and today we will dive into part 2 of my deck collection. This time I'm coming to you with my oracle decks, and also I have a few more decks that don't fit into any, they don't fit into the tarot or other oracle categories, so I'm just going to add them to this pile of cards because there is just like 3 or 4 of them. So let's get started. First, let me show you the Archetype Cards by Caroline Miss. This deck has been around for quite some time, and it's one of my staples of my collection whenever it comes to any sort of reading about people, especially personalities. They are really good for romance type of questions and friendship questions whenever there's question about the character of a person. The cards show the light attributes as well as the shadow attributes, so I really love these cards for that. It's like every person and every personality type is nuanced, obviously, but these cards really have to understand better. I've got the Wisdom of the Sacred Bee Oracle by Kelly Burton next. This is an indie deck, and I got it because I really enjoyed working with The Journey of the Sacred Bee Tarot by the same author. And look at this gilding. I just love it. I love everything that's colorful and shiny. So I'm actually in the minority of people who love these sorts of gildings. The cards are similarly colorful, and the style of them is basically the same as the tarot cards. These cards are divided into 4 suits, 5 suits, excuse me: earth, water, fire, air, and there's a 5th, the spirit. And there's just so many cards. I'm not really sure how many cards there are. I believe 68 or 70, and the meanings are really diverse. That's why I love this so much. I'm generally into decks with diverse meaning. I don't like entirely positive and entirely negative messages, or decks with an entirely positive or negative energy. So I don't think that you will see too many of them in my collection. Let's continue with my angel decks. I've got quite a few from Doreen Virtue, from before the controversy happened with her. Like this deck, this is the Healing with Angels Oracle cards. This was the very first deck of cards I ever owned. This deck really helped me with my very first spiritual awakening, and they were introduced to me by a friend who I don't keep in touch anymore with, but she really left a huge impact on my life and sent me off on my journey with angel work and spirit guide work. I'm not really using any of these decks anymore, but I think I'm just feeling too sentimental to let them go. Next, another Doreen Virtue deck. This is the Hungarian version of the daily guidance from your angels. I'm not really sure what the title is in English, but that's how it translates from Hungarian. This was my second ever deck and second ever angel deck. I like the aesthetics of this much better than the healing with the angels. I don't know, that those borders, I would rather not have them on those cards, to be honest. And I really love that there is a little message at the bottom of each card, while the previous deck had no messages on them apart from a keyword. I have the Romance Angels Oracle cards as well. When I bought this, I was still very naive about love, and I was at the point in my spiritual journey where I thought a deck of cards could solve all of my love problems, all of my love triangles, and all of my unrequited love problems. Well, that clearly wasn't the case, but I really did enjoy playing with these cards at the time. And then I've got this Angel Answers Oracle cards. Doreen's name has been already removed from this deck by the time I got it. It was quite many years later, and I basically got it because this deck has got 3 suits. I don't really use these cards with the light purple borders, but I love these cards. I'm not sure how to categorize them. Like, it helps with readings when decision needs to be made, and also there is this time indicator cards, which I also really enjoy. And I'm going to keep using this deck until I find a better alternative to replace it with. Let me show you my last angel deck, the Angelarium Oracle of Emotions. It was published by Los Carabillo, and let me find the creator. Eliminaya and Peter Mochbracher. I'm sorry if your name is pronounced wrong. I got this deck because I'm not able to connect to the Doreen Virtue ones anymore, and I thought that maybe a different type of angel energy would resonate with me better. But I'm not yet sure that this deck and I will work out either. Just these images are so beautiful, and they are not AI. They are actually drawn by the artist, digitally drawn by the artist. But this is just not how I imagine angels to look like. So the connection is just not there. I'm still working with it though. I'm planning to use this deck for monthly readings in May, daily readings in May. to give it one last chance before I put it up for sale. Next, I've got the Animal Apothecary by Cara Elizabeth. This deck has art that I enjoy a lot lately, and it was designed basically to help heal from past wounds and help with manifestation projects. This is really new in my collection. I got it when FOMO hit me right after Book Depository announced that it's closing down. So I literally had this for just a day or two. I've done a reading or two with it, and the messages that I received were really insightful and eye-opening. That I can tell you for sure. I also have the Animal Spirit Oracle deck by Kim Kranz to accompany my Wild Unknown Tarot, or at least that's the reason why I bought it, but that's not what I use it for at all. I actually ended up writing the upright and the reversed meanings as well on the cards, because I love animals, but I'm not that familiar with them to know what they represent. And I mostly use these cards for energy checkups and energy readings. They are divided into 5 elements as well, just like the Sacred Bee. And it's also really great when I'm diving into the personalities of different currents or the people they want to know about. This is the Soulcards, the first volume by Deborah Koff Chapin, and it lives in this beautiful drawstring bag. This deck has no guidebook, it's entirely intuitive, and Deborah drew these cards using her fingers. These images are very personal, and all of them hit really hard whenever I pull a card or two. I don't pull more than that, because like every time I look at the images, my mind just starts spiraling with thoughts and ideas and messages. Super insightful and a wonderful addition to shadow work spreads or even healing spreads. I also got the Soulcards Volume 2 by the same artist. It was created in the exact same style as the first one, and they both actually used to share space in the same drawstring bag. I just recently put it back into its original packaging because the number of cards were just overwhelming and unmanageable to shuffle. So this deck has just found a new home, and it will be off in a couple of days. But it has been a part of my collection for so many years. I really wanted to include it in this collection video because it deserves a space. Next is the Old Ways Magick Oracle by Namui Cornock. She is a British artist. This is a super large deck. Like, look at this compared to my big hand. Like, I have quite a large hand, but this deck is really difficult to hold. But to be honest, I wouldn't want it any smaller, because just look at the details in these images. Just look how much details there are. I think if these cards were any smaller, these tiny little details just wouldn't show. This is a bit witchy in my opinion, but also it's got elves in the cards as well, and animals, obviously, which I always love in a deck. Another large deck is Mildred Payne's Oracle of Black Enchantment, the Midnight Edition. It's by Patrick Valenza, who created the Deviant Moon tarot deck as well. And I only use this deck in October, or maybe in the beginning of November. I'm not sure, but I'm hoping that the images are showing up on camera, because the cards are quite dark. I love the blue tone, but I do regret a little bit getting this one. In retrospect, I think I should have gone with the red edition. I'm not sure what its official name is, but if you want to check that one, it's still available in his web shop, I believe. It's got similar drawing style as the Triomphe de Luna tarot deck from the same creator, which unfortunately I don't have, but I think the two of them would pair really well. Just be aware if you want to get this deck for yourself. Some of these images are a bit unsafe for the kind-hearted, but they are really fun to work with around October and November. The next deck is the Botanical Inspirations by Lynn Araujo. This is a really cheerful floral deck, which I think most of you are familiar with. Apart from the Doreen Virtue decks, this is the only deck that is completely positive, and because of that I hardly ever use it. This deck has also found a new home already, but it has also been a part of my collection for years, so I guess this one deserved a place in this video as well. This is the Illuminated Earth Oracle by Claire Mack, an indie deck that I adore a lot. I think this is one of my favorite oracle decks to work with. I really love the earthy energy. But apart from that, this also feels quite witchy to me. Witch as a budding, which I appreciate a lot. It's super easy to work with. The guidebook has only a sentence or two on each card, but it doesn't really need more than that, to be honest. They just read really well, and these images hit me every time. Another witch deck is the Season of the Witch Yule Oracle. This was my early Christmas present for myself last year, and I had a lot of fun working with it. For someone who doesn't have the easiest time to get into the festive mood, it's created by Lauren Anderson and Juliet Diaz. And Juliet, I think she's the artist, and she did such a gorgeous job on this deck. Next is the Oracle of the Radiant Sun in Hungarian, because when I realized it was available in my native language, I just needed to get it. I seem to be the only one who thinks this, but for me it pairs really well with the original Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. I love to pair them together. And it's also an amazing deck if you are learning astrology, because it's got the planets on it as well as the zodiac signs, and the guidebook is really great at describing their associations, also with the houses. The house numbers are at the top. But even if you are not into astrology, it's really a great deck with lots of cards, plenty of cards. I'm not sure how many there are, but you see my pile is just endless. I could go on showing you each card for minutes and minutes. The next deck is the Radiant Crystal Cards by Busha Designs. The same person created the Meraki Tarot as well, which is one of my favorite cards and favorite deck. I'm not sure where I stand with the Radiant Crystals, to be honest. It's by far the most aesthetically pleasing crystal deck that I've ever seen out there. For a while I was trying to sell this deck, but then I changed my mind about it. I used to be a huge crystal geek. I used to create bracelets from gemstones, used to sell them as well. But when I took a break from that, I stopped using this deck as well for some reason. Even though these cards are really insightful. It doesn't have a separate guidebook, but the back of each card describes the crystal. It has the chakra association, the astrological sign, an affirmation message, energies connected, and even herbs and flowers associated to it. So this deck is packed full of useful information. I guess I just need to get reconnected with it. This is the Threads of Fate Oracle, the Lumen edition, which matches my Weaver Tarot from the same company. This one is also very pinky and purplish, and it's also holographic. I hope my camera picks up on how beautiful these cards are. This is just such a joy to handle these cards. The cardstock is quite thick and it's not the easiest to riffle shuffle, and it also doesn't photograph too well. Probably you can tell because of the golden foiling. But to look at these cards is just such an amazing experience. I've got the Astrosoul Oracle deck because I used to be very dedicated to studying astrology. I still want to study it, but there's always something else that I want to do more. So this deck doesn't really have a point right now in my collection because I always did the guidebook. Well, not with the house cards because they have a small description here, and not with the zodiacs because I'm very familiar with those. But the rest of the cards I'm really clueless about. Like, what is Kazimi? I have no idea. I would have to look it up in the guidebook. I was trying to sell this deck as well, just like the Radiant Crystals, but then I sort of changed my mind. I'm not sure I really want to get rid of this one yet. Maybe I will find the time this year to subscribe to an astrology course or something. I hope at least. Next is the Reclaim Oracle by Marianne Kostatin. This deck is so precious. It's so close to my heart. This deck is basically a collection of emotions, very deep and very insightful. I don't use it very often because I don't need to focus on emotions in every single reading that I do. I mostly use this for shadow work and for myself, although I would really love to try this one in readings I do for friends. Next is the Phenomena Oracle by Jessica Bott. Her art style is really cute, and this deck is focusing on weather and climate. The art is really simplistic and minimalistic. Oh, look at these little mushrooms. This is one of my favorite cards. Just love them, love it so much. She was the creator of the Idiosyncra deck and the Amethyst Oracle. So if her style is familiar, maybe that's why. These cards are wonderful for reading moods. I love to use this for reading moods. The next is the Urban Crow Oracle by MJ Cullinan. I got this to pair with my Crow Tarot, and just like with that deck, I didn't expect to love this as much as I do either. But the images are beautiful as always. Like MJ Cullinan's art style is always really eye-catching and beautiful, and with these autumnal colors they really set such a mood to every reading. And this is one of those decks where I really enjoy the keywords a lot. Like, I get so much from these keywords that doesn't always happen with decks for me. Next is the Oracle of Echoes by Anaturian. This is the original version with 50 cards, not the expanded new edition. Just her artwork, her style is so gorgeous. I'm loving with everything that she creates. This is another deck that has really amazing keywords as well. The images are soulful, and whenever I look at them, they always trigger a lot of thoughts in me as well. This is one of my shadow work decks as well. I have quite a few of those. In my search of finding the perfect shadow work deck, which now I know doesn't exist, I picked up this one along with a lot of others. You only saw just the best that remained in my collection. I actually got rid of those, the ones that did not work out for me. The next is the Oracle of Shadows and Light by Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett-Griffiths. I have the Beautiful Creatures Tarot to pair this one with. I just really love Jasmine's art style. I think these images are super cute, and this deck, it's quite dark, but it manages to make me laugh every time. Like, I will show you why. Like, I'm not a pretty for shuffle, but with this deck I want to show you because it bridges in slow motion, and I think that's the best thing in the world. It gives me such joy to just shuffle this deck. And the messages, the keywords are always really accurate. They always point out the things that I'm hiding from myself on purpose. So there's basically no hiding away from this deck. If you ask a question, you will receive the answer you are scared to receive, but it's going to be delivered in a way that you can process it and you can work through it. The guidebook is actually very gentle and very detailed. One more Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett-Griffiths deck is the Faerytale Oracle, which I adore a lot as well. The images are really similar to the Shadows and Light Oracle, but fairy tale characters are featured in these cards. Also the shadowy sides of these characters, the one that is not the most apparent when you are watching a Disney movie or reading one of the classic fairy tale stories. They are really good at pinpointing character flaws in people, so I use this a lot in relationship and friendship readings as well. Next is the Ocean Dreams, a Mystic Oracle by Danielle Noel. This deck is my aesthetic so much. Like, this deck is full of whales, right? Like on the top there's already 2 whales, and the colors are my favorite, and just Danielle's art style is so unique for me. I know that these types of decks are really popular right now, but honestly, I don't want to work with any similar looking decks if it's not created by her. And to be honest, I prefer the guidebooks to be written by her as well. I used to have the Starseed Oracle, I think that's what it was called. She did the art on those cards, but she did not write the guidebook, and I was not able to connect with those cards. This one though is just perfect. They are soothing and reassuring, healing, really healing. Like, I always choose this deck when I need a good pick-me-up and a bit of reassurance. I used to have the Moonchild Tarot to go with this deck, also created by Danielle Noel. I ended up selling that one, but I used that money to pre-order the Shadow Moonchild Tarot, which is supposed to come out in a couple of months. So I'm looking forward to pairing these 2 decks. This is the Seasons of the Witch Beltane Oracle. I've been using this deck excessively in the month of April. This is also a new addition to my collection. I got it this spring, and as soon as I touched these cards, I already felt the connection. The colors, the messages, the flowers, even the bees. Like, I adore these bees, even though I have some deeply rooted issues with wasps and bees. I adore everything about this deck. It's so soothing and cheerful, and it makes me feel really feminine. Like, these days I struggle with my feminine energies. I'm mostly in my masculine energy lately, but whenever I work with this deck, it always brings out my feminine energy. The last oracle that I will show you is the Vessel Oracle by I wanted to say her name too quickly. Let me just check. Mary Elizabeth Evans. She is the artist who created the Spirit Speak tarot as well. Her art is really simple but very quirky and a little bit weird at times, but in a good way, in an absolutely good way. I really love to pair this deck with any sort of tarot deck, to be honest, because this style doesn't really match anything that I've got, although it really looks good next to the Tarot del Fuego. Okay, next let me introduce you my little fortune telling cards that I've had for a very long time. I got this very soon after the 2 of my oldest Doreen Virtue decks. So that has been over 10 years now. These little cards are also called gypsy cards. Their system is quite simple, like they read their messages face value. What you see in the image is the message that you will receive. They are simple, straight to the point, and unapologetically honest. I love this. So precious. I have two little Lenormand decks. This one is Ciro Marchetti's Gilded Reverie deck. This is the expanded version. His art is incredibly gorgeous. Like I'm in love with all of his decks. It's unfortunate that I don't currently own any of his tarots. I used to have the Tarot Grand Lux. I think that's what it was called. I ended up selling that one because of the very prominent borders on them, but I'm planning to get another tarot deck from him as soon as I can, because I just miss his art so much. I don't often use Lenormand cards. I'm still in the middle of learning how to read them. I do wish to find time over the summer to get more familiar with them though. My other Lenormand deck is the Green Glyphs by James R. Eads. His art is very simple, so it's really easy to learn with, especially because they got the keyword as well. Chiro's deck doesn't have that, so this is my study deck actually, and I'm pretty happy with it. And lastly, these aren't really cards, these are my Geomancy coins from James R. Eads. I got this through the Kickstarter with the Cosma Visions Oracle and Tarot deck. They are super gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Oops. I'm not really sure what to say about them, since I've got readings done for me with them, but I haven't used them in a reading, simply because this is another style of divination that I still need to get familiar with. Thank you for staying until the end of this video. I'm hoping that you have had a good time with me here. I had plenty of fun going through all of these tarot decks. If you appreciated this collection video, please press like for me and subscribe. Thank you, bye bye.